Happy Saturday, everybody. My name is 12 Gage. Welcome to my channel, 12 Gage Investigative. I hope everybody's having a wonderful Saturday. And before we get started, I'd like to, like I've been doing lately, I don't know, trying to promoting stuff without even being promoting, like associated with the people that I'm promoting this stuff with. Tonight, I want to promote the Bucked Up Sour Bucks brand energy drink. If you've yet to try this, what are you missing? What are you missing? You do not know what you're missing because it is a nice, smooth energy flow. And I have a special guest tonight. Some of you might know her, some of you might not. Some of you might have been involved with this lady. She's a hell of an investigator, a hell of a researcher. Warning label.
Hey, Gage.
Hey, what's going on? What's going on?
Living the life, living the life.
Well, you know it.
What's the name of that energy drink?
It's called Bucked Up Energy.
Buffed up. Alrighty, I hadn't seen those.
It's a nice, smooth kind of energy drink. It doesn't make you all jittery. I'm not jittery right now. Also, if you haven't checked out the merchandise in my on my channel in a while, this is the 12 gauge hat. On the inside of the brim are the bullet holes. Go get you one. Go check it out. Go get you one and be part of the 12 gauge team. It's funny
You
that I
know, I
say
think
that.
in between those bullet holes, you should put rocks.
Put what?
Rocks.
Rocks?
You know, like the gun thing.
Oh, of course, of course. Of course, yes, rocks. I got you now. Gravel. I got it.
Gravel.
Inside,
Yeah,
inside good.
put you some gravel in between every one of those bullet holes.
Of course, of course. So what's going on with you, Nina?
Uh,
Hold
door
on a second.
dashing, door dashing.
Hold on a second. Hold on. Keep it going.
Oh, well, I've been door dashing, taking care of Marty and helping her recuperate from her surgeries. Uh, just living life and being happy. Just being happy.
Well, you cannot go wrong with that at all. You can't.
No, no.
Hey, well,
I mean,
Harris, thank you so
I
much.
finally realized that sometimes it's the simple things that makes you happy.
You know, some of the simple things in life do make you happy. And sometimes it's hard to be happy all the time. Happiness is a fleeting thought. Happiness is something that it comes, stays for a couple seconds if you allow it, but just as quick as that, it goes.
Oh yeah.
But, you know, tonight, I just want to kind of piggyback on what we were talking about last night a little bit and continue the podcast format that I've started because I really enjoy it. I really enjoy the pace, the ability to be able to talk about multiple things all at once, not really have to present anything to be like, okay, we're presenting a case tonight, we're breaking this down. I mean, we could do that, obviously, but you know, I enjoy talking with people and I enjoy, you know, just talking. So
Oh, I like winging it.
tell me a little bit. Here's something else. You know, here's a topic for you.
Okay.
Have you ever tried Fritos um jalapeno cheddar
I
dip?
do not do jalapeno.
Well, if you haven't tried Fritos jalapeno cheddar dip, there's another product that you can try. I mean, I know that you said you don't do jalapenos. Why don't you do jalapeno?
I don't like the spiciness. Maybe my stomach don't like the spiciness.
What?
No, I don't like spicy food.
That's why you live in Alabama.
Yeah, let me tell you, the first time we went down to Laredo was the first time I'd ever had like real Mexican food,
Right.
and some of the real Mexican food. We're not talking Taco Bell or, you know, I mean,
Yeah,
some of it is really spicy.
yeah, the authentic stuff. It really is. The closer to the border that you get, the deeper
Right.
south you get. It really can tear you up if you're not used to it for sure.
I know. I watch. I'm a Food Network freak. I mean, I love Food Network, and they were cooking with ghost peppers the other night, and heck, I was sweating from just watching them.
Right, exactly. Do you ever watch that diners, dives, and drive-ins?
Honey, Guy Fieri, he is the man. Let me tell you. I
Oh
mean,
my God.
Tournament of Champions is going on right now, and it's number 7, and I haven't missed not 1 year at all. I mean,
Wow. That show it'll pack 5 pounds on you just watching it.
the thing about it is, it's you're gonna laugh. I mean,
Oh,
it's
of course,
it's a dang comedy show.
of
Have you seen
course.
his new one, Flavor Town?
No, I haven't watched the Food Network in a while. Like I said, every time I watch it, man, I just get hungry. I could have just ate a full course meal watching that food. It just my mouth starts watering, man.
Well, he has a new one now. It's called Flavor Town, and because they're always like, here in Flavor Town, and it's actually like every week the restaurants change, and they have to like choose if they want the high end or the Mexican or the food trucks, and they battle inside the restaurants like that. And it's just like a little fake Flavor Town, and he's the mayor of Flavor Town.
Oh wow, that is too cool. You know, another one that I used to watch is Man versus Food.
Oh my gosh.
That dude too. It's like they can eat all this food and never gain a pound.
I would
Um,
weigh 500 pounds.
I hear you. I hear you. I mean, to eat all that food, it's just something. I
I mean,
can't get over.
I don't even see how they. Who is it where is it? Is it Abilene, Texas, that has where if you can eat that big steak?
Oh,
Uh,
that's an Amarillo.
okay, is Amarillo? Yeah.
Yeah,
How
that's
is
an
how
Amarillo.
many? How big is it?
72 ounces.
Yes. You
Hey,
have
but
to wonder how
Longhorn,
many people has eat that.
but you know what? Longhorn Steakhouse has I think a 34 ounce, 32 ounce,
Wow.
32 ounce, and that's what I get when I go over there.
What?
I don't eat the whole thing anymore, but I eat probably half of it and leave the other half for the next day. But
Right.
that's a huge steak.
How do you eat your steak?
Medium rare. No, not
Okay,
really.
here's my question.
Medium well. Eat my medium well.
Okay, I ate mine medium rare. But anyway, here's my question. If you save it, how do you heat it up without cooking it more?
Well, I put it in the oven and broil it, so it's
Yeah.
mostly just heating up the top of it.
Okay. Okay. I've
That way
always
it's not,
wondered that.
that's that way it's not cooking it. It's just kind of heating up the
Right.
top and bottom. Or you can bake it for a little bit. Depending on.
That's one of I love to cook and I love to watch the food. The Food Network and true crime. That's my vices.
So the Food Network is a bomb. It really is. I mean, it's it's
As
interesting
a
once
matter of
you
fact, Jet Tila started following me on Instagram today.
really,
Yeah.
once you give up drugs, once you give up alcohol, people start learning what food tastes like.
I was
And you
like,
see
Marty,
these,
Jet Tila's following me.
you see people that you haven't seen in a long time. They used to be thin as a rail, you know.
Oh, see, I love to run up on those high school cheerleaders and everything that now weigh like 300 pounds. I'm like, ha ha. Sorry, that was probably wrong.
No, 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 not at all.
I mean, but I mean, because some of them are all stuck up and all, everything, and then you see them and they're like 300 pounds, and I'm like, oh, where's your pom poms now?
Well, accelerated nursing training. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for stopping on in. I'm glad y'all made it into the chat. You know, a lot of people try to get into the chat, but never really are able to stay in there. I'm glad you're here. Type in on anything you'd like us to talk about. We'll talk about anything y'all want to talk about. I mean, we're talking about
We
food
ain't
right
shy.
now. We're talking about food right now, so that seems to be a very hot topic amongst people is food. So, you know, like I
What
said,
is
whenever,
your favorite food, Gage?
mm, are you talking about just overall genre? If you were talking about
Yeah,
genre,
yeah.
I would say Italian is my favorite.
Really? See, that's mine.
Yeah,
And here's
Italian.
what's funny is I never realized it until I got on the truck with Marty, and we found an Olive Garden that we could go to, and she took me, and I'm like, wow, that's good. So then the next one we went to was Carrabba's, which is a step up from the Olive Garden, and I was like, wow, that's great. Well, then we found Johnny Carino's, and oh my gosh, that one blew my mind.
Well, we have a comment from the chat. It says rare, medium, rare. You do not have to heat it up. You eat it cold. Wow.
This is true. This is
I
true.
don't know. I don't know about all that. I don't know about all that. I mean, I have to heat my steak up a little bit. The
Come
only
on
thing I
now,
can
steak
eat,
time.
the only thing that's really good the next day cold is spaghetti and pizza.
Of course, pizza.
Yeah.
See, I
But
make brown spaghetti.
let me ask you, those little Italian restaurants that the mom and pop places that usually pop
Right.
up around town, they usually have the best Italian food. I mean, they really do. It's more authentic than some of these
Yeah,
chains
Marty took
you do.
Marty took me to a mom and pops in Birmingham, and
Yeah,
it outdid. I mean, it probably out. I can't remember the name of it, but it definitely outdid Johnny Carino's, Carrabba's, all of them. Because,
yeah,
like you said, they're authentic.
yeah. The spices and everything that they use. I mean, most of them they make it right there in their own kitchen. So
And
I
what is
try
it?
to,
Their nonna. It's their nonna's recipe.
yeah. I mean, Italian, and then people ask me, they're like, "Well, you're part Mexican, so why don't you eat Mexican food? Why don't you like it?" Well, this is my answer to that. I grew up eating obviously my mom's cooking, my grandma's cooking, my aunt's cooking, all of the family women's cooking, right? So once
Right.
you grew up and you develop that taste, when you go to a restaurant, you're comparing it to what you're eating. So if it doesn't taste that way, that any resemblance of what you remember it tasting like, it doesn't have flavor. And a lot of Mexican food doesn't have flavor. A lot
Hey,
of it
I'll
is
be honest with you. Like I said before, like I said a few minutes ago, I had eaten, at Mexican chains, you know what I'm saying? Not Taco Bell, but like restaurants, And until you go down to the border and you have the real, authentic Mexican food, it's not anything like these Mexican restaurants and stuff like that.
right, right. I got you. So Nina, since we're talking just about anything, last night we were talking about that individual that was the railroad killer, right?
Yes.
And I was driving home from Midland a while ago because I took my nephew over there and we went to academy and stuff. And there happened to be a train, you know, on the rails. And I was thinking about that case that we were talking about.
Right.
You know, it took them a long time to actually catch that guy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it
That
took
he
forever.
that he would be off the train into somebody's house, murdering them and eating their food and then hop back on the train and be gone just like that.
Right, right. I watched one the other night. It was um it was about the train hoppers, and one of the train hoppers had got murdered. And I mean, they were talking about, that they're not people to be messed with. That they will kill you.
Right, right. But I was telling my nephew, I said, when I was younger, I did have this, I don't know if you call it fantasy, goal, whatever you call it when you're young. You want to do all kinds of stupid stuff. I wanted to jump on a train and ride it somewhere. But then I always chickened out because I always thought, well, if I jump on the train, what am I going to eat once I get to wherever the train stops at?
Right.
Where am I going to sleep? Because can you imagine how hot those train cars are?
Oh my gosh. I worked in I was the manager for the overseas container
Yeah,
trucking, and we got a container in one time. It had 9 dead cats in it because they had gotten up in the container and it got locked, and they had eaten like the what is those popcorn styrofoams. I mean,
yeah.
they those were partially eaten and everything. And oh my gosh, I just cried because I mean they got on that ship and went across the ocean not knowing that they were fixing to get stuck in there.
Yeah,
And I mean those things are just a tin can. I mean
exactly.
you set a tin can out in the sun. I mean you can imagine how hot it gets inside.
Well, especially here in West Texas, here in West Texas, like today, it's 85, 88. It feels like 98, though. I mean, it's like winter left, summer, August heat replaced it. It's crazy. It's crazy how the heat just comes and stays. But, we're talking about how certain things happen and how people are easily able to maneuver around the country and commit their crimes. I know we've talked about truck drivers that have committed crimes such as killing, raping, and all these other things that happen on the railways, they're driving. You said you drove a truck or you were a passenger in a truck for a while. Is that what you said at one time? Where did you go? You're muted.
6 years, all 48 states.
Okay.
And there is who is the one that was a truck driver? Uh, of course, it's the Pacific Northwest. It ain't the Green River. Who is he?
I don't know. There was a famous one though that would
Yeah.
that would stop and pick up, just like most of them, stop and pick up hitchhikers or stop and pick up people at the truck stop and hold them hostage for months in that truck.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. There was one that actually had like a wood box in the back of his trailer, and because he drove reefer, and
Yeah.
so that was yeah. That's one of the ways that he got caught was they inspected his trailer and everything and made him open it up, and they found a body in the wood crate.
Well, this guy, the way they caught him, he had a busted out taillight and he got pulled over. And when the state trooper went to talk to him, he looked in the cab and there was a girl chained up. She was all bloody and she was trying to escape. And that's how they caught him. And they tracked him with multitudes of murders and all this other stuff. That video is in my library. If y'all get a chance, y'all want to go check something out, go in the library. There's plenty of stuff on what we're talking about tonight. Um, you know, also, whenever they caught him, he tried to deny it. To deny it, like
I know.
Like I picked her up at the truck
We're
stop.
only we're only we're only role playing.
Hey, look, he said I picked her up at the truck stop and she's consenting.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And then there's another guy that he shot three people in a motorcycle shop, and they went out to his land and they found a girl that he had chained up in one of those overseas containers.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You remember the toy box killer?
Yep.
Happy face. Okay.
Yes, that's him. That's him. That's him. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. You remember the toy box killer, the guy I think in New Mexico who had like a shed that he
Yep.
had all of these kind of contraptions that he would take women out there and do what they did with them. It took a while to catch him because
And then there was one that made a box underneath his bed and kept her in it.
I remember hearing about that. Wasn't that a
Yep.
small girl that he kept
Well,
under
I
the box?
mean, she was a younger girl, but it was him and his wife, and they would lock her under the bed in a box. And
Okay,
she finally broke loose. I mean, when she went running off, she still had the chains and everything on her.
okay, wow. I mean, can you imagine some of these people, kind of like Charles Ng and I can't think of that other guy's name. They were ex-military and they had dug a bunker in California,
Yeah,
and we had kept people like that as well,
right.
chained in a bunker. I mean, one of my favorite movies is The Lovely Bones. Have you ever seen that?
No, I never have. Yes, I have. Yes, I have. Is that about the little girl underneath the ground?
Yes.
Sure have. Sure have.
It, it has Mark Wahlberg in it. It's where the
Yes,
little
I
girl
sure
was
have.
walking across
Where he
the,
had that little bunker under the ground in the field.
yes, and he killed her.
Yes.
And it's like her spirit is watching
Yes.
the
It's
things
an
going
excellent,
on.
excellent, excellent movie.
Man, that movie just tore me up the first time I watched it because I was just like, that dude, he gave those creepy vibes like no other. I know it's a movie, but think of all the people in real life that you run across that give that creepy vibe, and people are like, "Oh, don't be prejudging and all this stuff." Then you find out, hey, that dude hurt kids, he hurts animals, he hurts these type of people. It just
Talk about a good actor that's creepy in a movie. And you made me think of it when you said the that thing the other night when you said lower the puppy down.
put the lotion in the
That
basket.
come on, that guy played I
Yeah,
mean, he played his part to the T.
put the puppy in the basket. We changed it
Yeah,
to
with
puppy.
the
Put the puppy in the basket. You know that that is actually um based on a true crime.
yes,
Isn't that the Ed Gein story? Some of it,
yes, yes.
the leather of the
Yeah,
face
yeah,
dressing
yeah.
up.
He was making stuff out of the skins and stuff.
I couldn't get into the Ed Gein story. That was, I mean, there's not a lot that really tripped me out, but I mean, the fact that somebody would peel skin off somebody else and stitch it
Where
together and wear it.
Yeah, the Ed Gein story is sort of like where Leatherface came from.
Yeah, they got
Yeah,
a bunch of those all together. You know what I mean? And
right, right.
wild.
And I
So,
mean, because in Silence of the Lambs, that's the reason that he picked bigger girls, because when he would take the skin off, it would sort of shrink up.
ooh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and so he had to get sort of bigger girls, and plus him being a man too with his build. But that's the reason that they were all sort of overweight, and he would starve them so long was to make their skin loose.
You know, you said something last night that intrigued me. You said, I wanted to always know what psychological effect caused them to think that way.
Right.
And that's an interesting statement because think about what would somebody mentally have to be to say, well, I'm gonna kill this person and peel their skin off, stitch it together, and then make a bodysuit from it, or make a chair from their skin. I mean, think about that.
Yeah, I mean, because that's the thing about it is because I mean, if you really get down to it and research the serial killers, none of them really had a good life.
No, no,
You know what I'm saying? Their lives were messed up. They were either abused, sexually abused, uh, all of the above abused. I mean, they have tragic stories. I'm not excusing them, but something, I'm sure that there may be some that their wires are crossed and they're just born like that. You know, I guess that's, the ones that are psychopaths because they're just born like that. You know,
right,
where the sociopath is made from society,
right. And most
But
sociopaths are the criminal-minded people that are
right,
what, they're able
but
to be
I mean,
rehabilitated to an extent.
right. That's what I told you the other night. Was I mean, I literally my dream was to sit across. Sit across. I didn't want a window in between us or nothing. I wanted to sit across from Charles Manson and have a conversation with him. And I'll tell
Wow.
you another one. And people think I'm crazy for this is Adolf Hitler.
What would make you wanna interview them?
Because you take those two, just Charles Manson and Hitler, okay,
Mhm.
to have that kind of, I don't want
What
to
would
say
you ask them?
control. Number one is I want to know how you got all them fools to listen to you. I mean, you know, ha, I mean, just put it bluntly, I mean, what
Right.
what were all of those people in need of to make them listen and to grasp every word that they said to where they would kill people for that person.
Well, I mean, it's radicalized, it becomes very radical. We have people in true crime that are almost the same type cult-like behavior. They cling together with their ideas, and they are willing to go above and beyond for their beliefs, It's very
But with like, especially Hitler. I mean, come on now, millions. I mean, but what it was Hitler came in at the exact time that that country was needing something. They needed that relief, that leader, they needed that. And it's just, to me, it's just like with drugs.
what would
We're
you ask
hunting what would I ask Hitler?
Charles Manson?
Now, see, Charles Manson, I could have a conversation with him for days. I mean, just
What's your
because he intrigues me.
what's your first question?
What happened to you as a little boy? I mean, you know, because he did have a rough childhood. He was born from a prostitute. I mean, you know, I, I think by the time he was 14, he had been in and out of jail more than most people's been in jail their whole lives. I
Right, right.
mean, but he did have that charisma and that effect on people back in that day. Now, today, I don't think he would have that same effect.
Right, because it was
Today, we want the subtleness and everything today.
right, it was the '60s, the
Right.
love and, all that. It's all about it was a different
And I
time.
always I always wanted to talk to Susan Atkins.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, She was one of the ones that, like, she never, in all the years of her being in prison, she never, like, gave up on, I guess, Charles Manson and the group, the family. You know what I'm saying? She was true to the family. I mean, I think later in years she got saved and everything before she died of cancer. But up until then, for years, she was true to the family. I mean, come on now. What's her name? The little one that tried to kill the president from Charles Manson's family. She got out of jail. She did not want to be released from prison because she didn't want to leave the family. So she goes out and tries to shoot the president.
That's one way to do it, right? One way to stay.
Right.
You know, what you're speaking of is one of the most basic needs we have in life is
Yeah, squeaky.
the feeling the feeling of belonging. You know what I mean? Um,
Yes.
excuse
And
me.
see, that's where Charles Manson was smart. He knew all of those little kids out, not kids, he knew who to groom.
Oh, of course, of course. And there's another interesting word that you just used, grooming.
Right.
You know, the more broken you are, look at the clown. Pogo the clown, John Wayne Gacy.
Yes.
He would groom those boys. He would groom them with
Well,
the promises of a job, a belonging, having kind of a father figure, and then he'd turn on them, kill them, probably
right.
when they wanted to get away. Squeaky Fromm, is that the name? Okay, thank you for that. Well, John Wayne Gacy was an interesting one. I mean, I don't know if you guys that are watching or going to watch on replay, if y'all have any kind of understanding about John Wayne Gacy, but John Wayne was a very outgoing. He was into the local politics, the local. He was a code. Maybe I'm getting him mixed up with BTK. One of them was a code enforcer. I think it was BTK, but I don't know if it was John Wayne Gacy as well. But he was always in the forefront. So, what better way to become a serial killer is to be right there in people's faces? That's why I guess it's hard for people to believe that the best way to do something is right there in front of them because they're never going to suspect you.
Do you
Did you?
remember the other night when I mentioned the guy that killed the people in Yosemite, and his brother had been held captive and had been found?
Yeah.
Okay, well, it was Corey. Let's say I think it's Corey Stainer was the brother that killed him in Yosemite, and Steven Stainer was his little brother. Now, his little brother was held captive for 6 years. This goes back to your grooming statement.
Okay.
And so his captor takes him out into the woods one night and is strangling him, fixing to kill him. And he has enough mind to beg him and say, I will do anything. I will live with you forever. Just don't kill me. And so he told him, he said, I'm going to let you live and you're going to be my son, blah, blah, blah. But you can never tell a soul who you are. Now, this kid was over at the neighbor's house. But I mean, it got to where he could come and go. He went to school. He had friends. He bought him anything and everything he wanted. But they were talking about that he was over at some friend's house one night. They were sitting in the living room watching TV, and his story, the real story of him being kidnapped and everything, came on. And she was like, I don't understand. Why did he not look at me and say, That's me? Take me to the police. You know, but he had been groomed so long And that's where that Stockholm syndrome and stuff like that. I mean, all that went through his head is, I will die if I tell somebody.
Well, you get to feeling sorry for the person who's hurting you because they gaslight you, they use you as a scapegoat, and then you start feeling sorry for them, and it's hard for you to either turn them in or leave their presence. Kind of like what you just said about the Stockholm syndrome. You know, those robbers convinced all those hostages that they were robbing that bank for a purpose, and
Right,
by the time the police swooped in, there were some of the hostages that didn't want to even come out of the place because they didn't want anything bad to happen to the robbers.
right,
So you tell me about human nature, why we are easily turned to somebody who's harming somebody else is because you somewhere somehow have an understanding of what they're going through.
exactly.
Go ahead and talk. I got to turn on the AC. It's kind of hot in here.
Oh Lord.
You're
Okay,
good.
so we talked about what I would ask Hitler and Charles Manson. Um, Ted Bundy. I wanted to interview him, and I don't know. I think I would want to know from him why he chose to go to Florida. Now, I do know that he asked his attorney, "What state can I go to and get the death penalty?" And his attorney told him Florida or Texas. Well, he chose Florida. But did he want to be executed because he wanted to be caught and stopped, or did he want it over? You know what I'm saying? And he just couldn't stop it himself. Because I think sometimes they do want to be caught. If not for the infamy, just to get it over with, just stop it.
Well, that's an interesting thought right there. It really is. I've never really given it much thought. That's interesting that you say that. But think about it if we're going to talk about a comparison, let's compare that to addiction.
Right,
Don't you want to quit hurting yourself? I mean, if you're a sociopath, you think, "Well, I know what I'm doing wrong." If you're a psychopath, you're thinking, "I don't care what I'm doing wrong." You know, so there is a big difference, right?
right. But do you think some of them want to be caught? Not for the infamy.
I believe that Israel Keys wanted to get caught, and I believe Ramirez wanted to get caught, the Night Stalker. I
Yeah.
believe maybe Dahmer wanted to get caught, but
Dahmer, yeah, Dahmer, yeah, because Dahmer, yeah, he wanted it stopped.
some of the bigger ones like Bundy and BTK and hell, Danny Rowland, I don't think they wanted to get caught. I think that they made some mistakes.
Right.
I mean, Bundy escaped from prison, man. So he didn't want to be caught.
Starved himself so he could fit.
What?
He escaped twice.
Right.
One time I think he jumped out the window.
Hmm.
And then, if I'm not mistaken, he lost a lot of weight so he could like squeeze. The bars were wider than normal,
Hmm.
and he lost a lot of weight so he could squeeze in between.
Wow. That's interesting right there. That
I'm just
tells
full
you,
of all kind of useless knowledge.
well, I mean, that's part of the podcast, you know, you give people information that they may not know before, you
I
know.
wonder if the killer can't lose. Maybe getting caught is fine for them, as well as getting with a bit. Yeah, yeah,
It's kind of like if you know you have this urge, you have this, it's a love hate relationship with the demon, which, you know, Chester Bennington called it the Dark Passenger, kind of like Dexter Morgan did in the series Dexter. He called it the Dark Passenger, right?
Right.
It's like having that ultra ego that is fueling your desires, your urges, your wants, your needs. At one point, you're fighting against yourself, you know? I don't know about you and your addiction, but in my addiction, I got to the point where I was too vain to kill myself, but I wasn't above having somebody else take me out.
Exactly. Exactly. And
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, yeah, Jeff is right. He did. If I'm not mistaken, he escaped twice from jail.
yeah.
One was out the window, and then I got to look it up now. Hang on. Keep talking. I can still hear.
Well, you know what? Jeff is a big Jody Arias fan. I know Jeff liked Jody. We talked about Jody last night. Is Jody Arias still alive? Is she still doing time? I Jeff, can you type yes or no? I don't know about Jody Arias. It'd be cool if StreamYard would incorporate ChatGPT into the program. That way we could just type a question and it could give us the answer right on the fly. That would be awesome. But Jody Arias, Casey Anthony, Susan Smith, um, Carla Faye Tucker from Texas, she killed somebody with a pickaxe.
Yeah. Okay. I was wrong. He did not go through the bars. He lost 20 to 30 pounds so he could fit through a hole in the ceiling of his cell.
Okay.
Yeah. And then of course the jumping out the window.
But think about a person like Ted Bundy being free. Don't you know that people were scared to death during that time? Just like the Night Stalker with Richard Ramirez. I can't imagine being in California during that time, as hot as it was that summer, and being scared that somebody's going to sneak in through your window and take advantage of you and possibly kill you. Because he didn't care. He didn't care whether you were male or female, young, old, it didn't matter.
Oh, and the guy that snuck through the window and slit the little girl's throat and she lived, but the little friend died. What's his name? Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
no.
I mean,
That's a
he's a
good,
famous one. God, what's his name?
I don't know. I know the
Hang
Night
on.
Stalker. I know the Night Stalker um, shot a woman getting in, driving in her garage, getting out of her car. He shot at her. He hit her, but it didn't kill her. He went into the kitchen and killed the roommate and then walked out the front door. That's how he was able to be identified by one of the that woman lived. But he did kill a 16-year-old as well. It didn't matter to him what age group there was. He looked evil though. In all the photos that I've seen of Richard Ramirez, he looked like an
Oh yeah,
evil.
Tommy Lynn Sales.
Okay. Educate the group or educate the podcast on a little bit about Tommy. He's a famous
That's
one.
just that's just one that dude's just evil. He is he. I mean, I think he ended up. I mean, he was trying to confess to like 25, 30, wouldn't it? I mean, like way up there. I think they only ended up getting him for. I know. I know that in Texas, he snuck through the window of a 13-year-old's bedroom, and he killed her and realized that the other little girl was on the top bunk, and he slit her throat, and she lived. And to watch her, I mean, when on the stand, and to hear her talk about it now and everything, you know that even though she was scared, that it took, even as a kid, she took her power back, you know And I think he was just nasty. He was another one like Ramirez. He didn't care. He'd just kill
There's
you.
a, there's a lot of them that don't care, and there's a lot of them that do it. In their mind, they're giving society, um, they're cleaning up society's messes. There's a lot of them that prey on um, exotic workers, prostitutes.
Um,
You know,
Bricado. He talks about Tommy Lynn Sales, and I watched him one night, and he was talking about that Tommy Lynn Sales is one that, like, I don't want to say it creeped him out or anything like that, but he knew that that was just evil.
well, yeah, the new evil, that book that I read, that's in my that he wrote, Dr. Bricado. Um, he went into intricate details on the new evil of these killers and their differences in their mental capacity, and as they get a certain level of intensity, and the differences between crimes.
Is that the one where he ranked them?
Wait, what?
Is that the book where he ranked them like no,
Yeah,
like yeah?
yeah.
And okay, did he do Israel Keys?
Um, I don't remember hearing anything about
Because I would
Israel.
I would I would like to know how high he rates Israel Keys
I know he put
because
Cobra
of
number 16.
yeah, I knew that. And I know, but with Israel Keys, because of the way he did it and the planning and I would imagine that he would be way up there on the ranking.
I have to go back and read the book. I can't I mean, it's been a while since I read it, but
Right.
he did talk a lot about a lot of different ones. The one BTK, bind, torture, kill. I remember one specific part. He said that he would get the ligature, right, and twist it just to watch the person's life go out of their eye. That was his enjoyment in the kill. Now, how sick is that? She went quiet. Hey, everybody in the chat, thank you so much for being here. I hope that you're enjoying the podcast tonight. We are discussing multitudes of different killers, and we're talking about food. We're talking about just a lot of different variety tonight. I hope that you're enjoying it. Um,
Where did I go?
I don't know where you went, but he said BTK was quoted as saying that one time he had the ligature around a woman's neck and that he was kind of in abstinence mode. He was only going to rape her, he wasn't going to kill her. And he went to kill her with the ligature and he actually stopped himself. But after that, he became even more fierce and ferocious.
But a lot of them like for them to be facing them because of the eyes. Because they get to watch their eyes go dark.
Right. That is right. While we are talking about this, let me show something that Jeff is in the chat. So I want
Uh
to
oh, I know what you're fixing to show.
I want to show what you sent me a while ago.
Jeff, we were so wrong.
This is our what you call Mandela
Regarding
moment.
secondary footwear transfers, there are no visible footwear transfers associated with any of the possible exits from the scene. Even though it can be established that the perpetrator left the scene, they did so without leaving visible footwear transfer stains. Again, just something interesting to think about. They didn't find any footprints belonging to Brian Koberger. Or at least visible footwear transfers is what they call them. Again, goes back
Bam, there's a
to
big paper
the
sack.
guy knew how to
I
pull
told
this off.
you. I told you. I told you both.
I'm eating crow.
Y'all thought I was crazy. You're like, Come on, Gage. There's no way. There wasn't any paper sack. Look at this video. There was plenty
And
of
then I
paper.
have to go. Then I go and send it to you to prove
Right.
me wrong.
So what do you think was in that big paper sack the last two was carrying?
I think I have figured out who they were because that big paper sack. I wonder if it is part of the wall that was cut out of Maddie's room,
Okay.
and defense cut that out.
Right.
So that could be part of the defense team.
That was a big bag, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, because when I saw that tonight, I was like, I wonder if that's the piece that was cut out of Maddie's wall.
Very well could have been. But that piece looked very little though. Are you talking about the big piece that was on
Yeah, I'm
okay.
talking about the you. Yeah, I'm talking about the big piece.
Not the little bitty one that was
No,
probably
no, no. I'm talking about the big piece.
and you know something else since we're talking about blood and gore and stuff. Do you realize that, and I bet people don't realize this, that whenever you stab somebody, the metallic pieces, as they rub against bone, muscle, cartilage, whatever it might be, mixes in with the blood.
Yeah,
So, how much, we talk about DNA all the time. How much of the victim's DNA was actually mixed in with the knife shavings off the K-bar knife?
yeah, because he was hitting bone.
Of course he was.
Right.
He was hitting muscle. He was hitting all kinds of organs, all kinds of stuff. So, you know, it goes way deeper than just the surface.
Right. So you liked my pictures the other night of the K bar and the bunched up clothes?
Yes, I did. I did. And that made a lot of sense too. Because we've always said that we thought that he had the K bar grip like this and that he punched.
Right.
But, also, have you seen those gloves that have
Yes.
the metal rings on them?
Yes.
That could be too.
But
You-
that one with the bunched up, if he was wearing outer clothing and he's got the knife in there, because she says that there's a triangular shape at the bottom and a cylinder at the top.
Right. I mean, there's multiple personalities, multiple possibilities.
Oh yeah.
But I always thought that maybe he had on a pair of gloves with those weights or with the metal parts that are like brass knuckles.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Yeah.
If you have those on and you punch somebody in the mouth with those, it's almost like punching them with a roll of quarters. You're gonna knock out teeth. You're gonna break bone.
Yeah, but what I was talking about was the striped impression.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. Those things
Yeah.
have like little. I get where you
Oh
said the
yeah, the little ridges.
yeah, I get where you said the K bar could have made that, but how would the K bar have made that unless he hit her like that with it? You know what I mean? That's a
It could have
possibility.
been before he took it out of the sheath.
True, true. There's no telling. There's no
Right.
telling.
No, I mean, like we said the other night, unless you were there, and I don't want to know if you were there.
Well, supposedly Jeff was there, so
Well, I know. Jeff gets his
Jeff,
own T-shirt too.
Jeff the Fed. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
I remember hearing that way, way back. Jeff is a Fed.
Oh, yeah. I remember. I heard that on a creator's channel that he used to frequent.
Yeah, I always heard Jeff was a Fed, and I was like, how is Jeff a Fed? How is it possible? I know federal agents, and not only Jennifer Coffindaffer, I have friends that are that are in the bureau, and retired. So Jeff acts nothing like them. You ever notice a retired person who's been in law enforcement? They are totally different. They're a different vibe.
Oh
They're
yeah.
they don't have a sense of humor for one, most of them. They've been jaded to the point where they're just dry. You get what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah. I mean, I totally agree with that. That's like a lot of the retired military. A lot of them don't have. The ones that the ones that have seen stuff.
Right, right. I hear you. So, do you have any questions for me, Nina? I'm always asking you questions. Ask me some questions. I'll answer them as long as they're not
How
too
did you?
personal.
How did you? How did you get into true crime?
How did I get into true crime? Well, like on YouTube or in general?
No, I mean, what started? What was your first interest in true crime? Like I told
Um,
you, my first book was Helter Skelter.
I would say, shit, I don't even know. Eileen Warnos.
Oh wow,
Eileen
wow.
Warnos. We all
And
know about
that's another sad one too.
Yes, it is.
I mean, and
Eileen,
the thing about it is when I was researching the mitigation and stuff like that, she refused to be a part of her own mitigation. She was just done with it. And the jurors actually was like they found that the mitigating circumstances outweighed, the whatever's. But the judge was like, "No, she's dying." I mean, he was like, "The hell with the mitigation," you know.
right.
But she had that childhood was rough.
Well, the movie Monster
Oh my
was
gosh,
was
the
awful.
makeover of that actress.
There's plenty of movies that I've watched over time that have really um given me interest in true crime. One of them is Boys Don't Cry.
Okay, well, let's go back to Eileen. What would you ask her?
I would ask I would ask her, when you were young, did anybody ever try to help you?
Right,
And if they didn't, did they know what was going on with you?
right.
And why did nobody step up for you?
What would you ask Ramirez?
What the fuck is wrong with you? What the fuck is wrong with you, bro?
Okay, so what would you ask Charles Manson?
Play me a song on the I would say play me a song on the guitar.
He could actually really write very well.
Yeah.
Okay, so Boys Don't Cry, man, that's a bad one too.
I wanted to go up to that area just to check out that house.
Yeah.
For those of you that are not familiar with that movie, it was about a girl named Tina Brandon who wanted to be a boy. And she lived in Nebraska. And what ended up happening is she would write bad checks. The girls loved her because, she knew how to give them whatever, a female needed. So she fell in love with this girl. These two guys suspected that Tina Brandon was indeed a a girl, right? I got that right.
Right. Yeah.
Um,
But what
he
it
went
was that she was so guy that they hung out with her as a guy,
right,
and that's what really sent them over the edge.
right.
Okay, go
Well,
ahead.
they ended up raping Brandon, Tina Brandon. She Brandon went to jail. She filed charges against them, and instead of testifying, facing the rape charge, those two guys, John Lauder and the other guy, went out to this farmhouse where Tina was with this girl, her friend, and her friend's baby, and this other guy, and they ended up shooting everybody in the house but the baby. And they're one of them scheduled to die, and the other one's on life life imprisonment. I think
Right.
that's a sad movie, man. That's a
And
sad movie.
man, that's a terrible movie.
Boys Don't Cry, and the other
Yes.
one's called Monster. Galen Warno's story. Um, there's another one. I mean, we're talking movies, so these movies are based on a lot of true stories. Um, and it makes you wonder, exactly how vicious the crimes really were. Welcome back.
Thank you. And see, a lot of the reasons that I've seen a lot of the movies is from probably 1991 until all the blockbusters closed down. I worked at Blockbuster Video, and so then after that, I went to work at a little fourplex movie theater, and then I ended up being the manager at Premier Cinema 18. And
Okay.
so, yeah, my, I mean, half of my life has probably been movies.
My first job was a movie theater, and I loved it.
Now they don't, they just stream them now. I mean, you don't build them, or I will never forget building Braveheart. That thing was 9 reels.
So what's another movie that really was realistic to you?
Now, see, I would say the whole Red Dragon series,
Okay.
where Silence of the Lamb stems from and all that, that whole series has always been a major interest. Now, I will tell you the movie Copycat. Have you seen it?
I think I have. The name sounds familiar,
It
but if I
is the girl that played an alien.
okay, Sigourney
Sig-
Weaver.
yeah, no, that's not her. Yeah, that's her. No, it's not her. Anyway, she was like a big time the person that educates you about serial killers. But anyway, she gets attacked in the bathroom by one of the serial killers. So, and it messes her up so bad that she becomes agoraphobic and everything. And
Wow.
so the movie is about, like, one of them gets killed, and we'll say it's Ted Bundy. Well, then the next one is BTK, and then the next one is, and she finally puts it together that he's copycatting serial killers.
Oh
But
wow, that sounds like a good one.
oh, Copycat is excellent. It My daughter, look, she's like me. She's a true crime buff, but she hated that movie so bad, but loved it at the same time. But after the bathroom scene, she would not go in a public bathroom without me.
Another movie that I really have watched more than once, The Life of David Gale.
Oh my gosh, that's
That
a good one
movie,
too.
that movie is a psychological thriller. That one in 8 millimeter. Have you
The
seen
movie
8 millimeter?
Seven. Oh yeah,
Yep.
8 millimeters, excellent.
That was one of the first ones that I remember that actually really it messed with my mind enough to be intrigued. You know what I mean?
Right. Used to on the Lifetime, not before it became LMN and all that. We're talking the old Lifetime. They would do a lot of true crime movies, and I remember one of the first Joe McGinnis books I read was about the Green Beret right after the Tate LaBianca murders and everything, where he killed his whole family.
Okay.
Um, I was reading that book, honey. I would take that book to the uh, bathtub and read it while I was in the tub. That book was so good. And
Wow.
then they came out with the movie, and I was like, oh my gosh, the movie. I had never seen a movie as good as the book.
That's what's usually that's when you know it's a good one because the movie echoes the book,
Yes.
you know. But the life of David Gale, it was so moving to me, and it pissed me off at the same time. If you've
Yeah.
never seen it, if you've never seen it, it's one of those movies that you get to the end and you're like, mother, ah, were you mad?
Oh yeah. I was mad at the end of Seven too.
Yeah, yeah. We're talking true crime, but one of my favorite movie series is Kill Bill.
I don't.
Remember,
I don't think I've never watched them. I built
you
it, but
never
I never
watched
watched.
Kill Bill?
I've never watched any Kill Bill.
On, come on,
The only thing I know about Kill Bill is the music video.
you have to watch the Kill Bill trilogy. You have to watch it.
It's Trenton Tarantino, right?
Yes,
See, I
you have
love Trenton Tarantino.
you have to watch Kill Bill. You have to.
I
You
mean,
have.
Trenton Tarantino, he is messed up in the head, but he is fantastic.
Yeah, you have to watch it. But yeah, the life of David Gale. I like those movies that give you those quotes where you're like, "Damn, that's deep. That is
Yeah.
deep." Where um. Oh, we got a question for you, Nina. What is the name
Okay.
of the book? What is the name of the book that you were talking
Of
about?
Joe McGinnis.
Okay.
Okay,
Can you
hang
type
on.
that?
Doubt.
Can you type that in the
Doubt.
chat?
Uh, yeah, let me think. It's doubt. Oh my gosh. That's how many years it's been since I read that book. Oh my gosh, doubt. Hang on, be right back.
Okay. Since we're talking about the life of David Gale, if you've never seen that movie, it's an older one. But you know what? It's about an individual who gets charged with the murder of his best friend, who find out that she's terminally ill. And she asks him to kill her. But what happens is they film the murder and it goes from there. He gets convicted. He's on death row. He was a teacher that was advocating for the death penalty and stuff like that. And it goes from there. If you've never watched that movie, watch that movie and let me know what you think in the comments because I love that movie. The Lovely Bones is another one. If you've never watched that movie, that's a great movie. Fatal Vision. Okay. So I actually went to the barbecue joint that they showed in The Life of David Gale.
Yeah.
It's in Austin. I actually went to that barbecue joint and I was
Oh,
talking to the
really?
yeah, I was talking to the gentleman who owned it. And he was telling me about, when they filmed it, he met Kevin Spacey and the actress's name, I can't remember her name. Um but it is just like the freaking movie. It is I have pictures of it. I'll send you pictures later on. Um,
Well,
but
Fried Green Tomatoes was filmed in Juliet, Georgia, and I went to that diner.
really,
Yeah.
isn't that awesome when you go somewhere where a movie was filmed?
Right. And then if you build it, they will come. What was the name of that movie? Where he built the baseball field.
Oh, what dreams may come?
Not What Dreams May Come. No. Is that the name of it? What Dreams May Come is What
Were
Dreams
they?
May Come is oh my
No,
gosh.
that's that one. That
That
one that
is
they.
Robin Williams.
No, that's a different movie. Hey,
Field of
PK,
Dreams.
Field of Dreams. She said Copycat was an excellent movie. Sorry, I'm
Yes.
still behind. I have to watch that.
Oh my gosh. Do you still have your Discord?
I do.
You need to watch it one night and all of us watch it together.
I might do that one weekend when
Yeah. It is excellent. But
that's
What Dreams May Come, have you seen that?
a long time ago.
My gosh, that movie will just make you squall.
Did you
That's a southern. That's definitely a
you,
southern term, I think.
you know what movie, what true crime person I can't get into? The Son of Sam.
I've never been able to, but he has his own ministry and everything now.
Do you believe that he really heard the dog telling him to kill?
It's
What the
according
hell
to how
was
many
that?
shrimp. According to
What's
how many shrooms he ate that night.
well, what the hell was that dude's name anyways? I can't even think of his name. He's a famous killer.
Damn it, Gage.
Something
It starts with his last name starts with a B.
come on, chat, help us out. What was the Son of Sam's name? What was his name? For $500, what was his name? David Berkowitz. I didn't even look it up. I
Told you it
just
started. Told you it started with a B.
David Berkowitz.
Yeah, he has his own ministry now.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
So he
yeah. I
converted.
mean, oh yeah. I mean, and the guy that did the interview with him and everything. I mean, he talks about how people use that as a, oh, I need to get out of prison because, and he doesn't want to get out of prison. He says that he knows what he did and that he is dealing with his punishment, but while he's in prison, he's doing his ministry.
Did you hear me earlier? Is Jodi Arias still in prison? Did she get life?
Oh yeah,
I know Casey's
yeah,
gone. But Jodi Arias got life in prison?
oh yeah.
Okay.
She doesn't, Jeff. She doesn't have the possibility of parole, does she?
I don't know. Jeff is the Jodi Arias groupie.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know if she got life without parole or if she got like 25 to life or 40 to life or you know what I'm saying? I mean,
The guy's name's David Berkowitz,
son of Sam.
Son of Sam. I know Casey's out. Casey's out doing what Casey's doing. It's just a
Oh my
matter of,
God, Casey's making her own YouTube channel and her own TikTok channel and
you know what? If you could reach out to Casey, I'd love to have her on my panel.
oh, you are wanting to be hated, aren't you? you're
What?
just you're just tempting everybody to.
You think people would really like just turn away from my channel after that?
Oh my gosh, you'd have to turn your comments off.
Hey, that I'm all for a good time. Tempt me with a good time.
Wow. I don't even know if I would be bold enough for that, and I come with a warning label.
You know what? If Casey Anthony, if you're listening, I invite you to my panel. I'd love to interview you.
Wow.
You heard it first on 12 Gauge Investigative.
Okay, well you take her and I'll take the parents on those left behind.
Honestly, I mean, how bad could it be? You know, how bad could it be?
Oh, I
To,
mean, it,
to hear from
she's part
somebody,
of
go ahead.
she's part of true crime.
You know,
You don't think that if Koberger would do an interview that somebody'd have him on there?
if I could get Koberger on my channel, I would break the internet, bro. I would break the internet. Even people that don't like the channel would be watching.
Look, when I was out there, we went by the prison that he's in,
Okay.
and I was like, wonder what happened if I just went up there and said, I'd like to see Brian Koberger, please.
Oh my God, you could say, well, he's my long lost nephew. I'm
Yeah,
not on I'm not on the list, but
yeah. Can you run? Ask him if I can be put on the list, please.
yeah. Can you imagine how many people have probably actually tried to get on that visitation list?
Oh my gosh. Do you know how many people are probably? But see, I don't think he is to the point of having visitors and mail and stuff like that.
I don't think so either. I don't think he's in general pop yet.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think he's still sort of being processed and all that. You know, like learning where to put him.
So what would you ask Brian since we're going there?
Brian, do you remember in September of 2014? That's how much research I've done on you, fool.
Okay. Okay, let's go with that. Let's go with that. What else would you say?
I guess I'd want to know about Brandywine Hospital. I'd want to ask him about that. And I would want to ask him about his religious background.
Current or past?
Past, as childhood.
Okay, without getting really psychological or physiological, what do you think happened to him? We've talked about it. I mean,
Yeah,
multitude.
I think Mama ruled the nest. I think Mama was overbearing, and I think that the daddy was sort of ridiculed and stuff like that and talked down to, and that's the kind of stuff that he witnessed. You know what I'm saying? And then
Okay,
I think as he was growing up and the sisters were growing up, I think the sisters started bullying him. You know, we teach our kids that what's okay and what's not okay, you know. So you can bully your brother because y'all watch me bully your father.
okay,
You see what I'm saying?
yeah,
And I think a lot of his bullying and stuff was being from an overbearing mother and bullying sisters.
okay. Do you believe he was sexually abused?
That's the
Sorry,
reason I want to know about the religious part.
I didn't mean to choke you up.
No, that's fine. That's fine. The reason why is because the they live in a specific kind of Catholic community. It starts with a S. Okay,
Well, you
and
know, you were talking Israel Keys. He came from a very religious family as well, and he went off to become one of the biggest serial killers
right,
because of that religious affiliation of condemnation. You know that.
right.
Keep going. I
She
didn't mean
was
to cut.
sentenced to life. Okay, she was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
I'm gonna write her.
Jodi Arias,
Yeah, is
you
that the one
fool.
with the glasses?
That that's the one that's standing on her head and
I would ask her
singing.
I would ask her, "Hey Jody, what were you thinking in that interview? What was going through your head?"
But she's making a killing selling her paintings.
I would ask her
You want
that. I
you
would
want to
say,
buy a
"Hey,
Jody Arias painting?
she sells paintings like John Wayne Gacy."
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
that's what Jeff just said. Dang dog,
I
are you not reading your comments?
was looking for that barbecue place picture that I took outside of that barbecue place in Austin to show the chat, but I couldn't find it. Jody Arias is the one with them big glasses, or is that Susan Smith?
That's Susan Smith.
She killed her
Jody
baby.
Arias Jody Arias is the one that killed Travis in the shower.
I'm gonna try to reach out to Casey Anthony and be like, "Hey Casey, I think you're hot. You want to come up on my panel?"
Oh my god. Look, if she comes up on panel, you better just shut your comments down.
Why?
Your comments are gonna blow up, and they're not gonna be pretty.
Are you serious? Is that?
Yes.
I know what people think of Casey. I really do. She was 22 when that happened, right?
Right.
Jeff or anybody in the chat, do you believe Casey was innocent? Anybody watching, do you believe Casey Anthony was innocent? I'm gonna reach out to her. I'm gonna try to interview her.
I dare you. Take that as a dare.
I'm going to. Don't dare me with a good time. I'm telling you. I'm gonna reach out to Casey and see if I can get her on my channel. I am not shy
He,
about I am not shy about inviting people up on my panel. I am not.
Walt, PKC, y'all tell him his comments will be blown up and it ain't gonna be pretty.
Walt says it was confirmed by law enforcement, so it was true. Okay. I'm not shy about inviting people up on my panel. As long as you're respectful and the chat is respectful towards you,
There ain't gonna be no respect in that comment section.
I doubt people will even show up. There's 7 people in here right now watching.
But we're
And
not Casey
probably four
Anthony.
of them or 4 of them are on your side.
We're not Casey Anthony.
Okay, do you believe she did it?
Oh hell yeah.
Even after the benefit of the
Hell
doubt.
yeah. Hell
Even
yeah.
after the
Hell yeah.
when did she do it in your mindset?
That night. I mean, it
What?
wasn't. I mean, she.
So that's the
What do
one
you
where
mean?
she said, hey, that's the one where she said she was at the babysitter's, right?
Yeah, and the
And she left
babysitter's
her,
name is Zan.
yeah, that she left her at the babysitter's.
Zany. The babysitter's name is Zany.
She left her at the babysitter's, and then her daughter was abducted from the babysitter's, right? Is that the case?
And then she told she worked at Universal Studios.
Right, right.
Yeah, that's her.
I'm gonna reach out to Casey.
All right, you have fun with that.
I'm gonna have you on panel too.
I'll
I'm
come
gonna
sit
have,
on panel.
I'll have Jennifer Coffindale if she'll come up on panel that
I,
night too.
all four of us be up there.
Yeah, I'm curious. I
You
mean,
can ask Dr. Mercado. You can ask Dr. Mercado too, and he can psychoanalyze her.
look, you want to know what a person like that thinks. That would
Yes.
be the perfect guest to really cross
Well, she's
examine.
not going to talk to. She's not going to talk to me because I think the bitch is guilty.
You can tell her, look, I have my own opinion, but I really want to know what makes you tick. See, Jeff said Jody Arias used a knife from the kitchen, right?
Yeah, but she took a gun from her grandfather.
And PKC says, then she said her dad was molesting her. Okay.
Right.
So Casey was saying her dad was molesting her. If I got the story right, her dad supposedly pulled her daughter from the swimming pool. Her daughter, she was watching her daughter, got sidetracked. Her daughter ran into the pool, drowned. Her dad found her, dragged her out of the pool, and that's when she saw her daughter dead, right? Is that
That's
correct?
the story, and she's sticking to it.
Is that correct, though?
Yes.
See, when he said that in trial, I was like, that
She had a great defense.
I thought to myself, that could have happened.
And that's reasonable doubt.
I believe that a whole hell of a lot more than I believe you were stargazing.
I'll give you that one.
I mean,
Well, if you're going to reach out to Casey Anthony, I'm going to reach out to Melissa Koberger.
do it. I dare you. I dare you.
Like we stand a chance of either one of them.
I don't care. I've written multitudes of people. Somebody had to be brave enough to say, yeah, I'll be on their panel. I'm not scared.
Well, I
I'll
mean,
tell
I was brave enough to reach out to Ivan Moody, and he showed up in one of my lives one night.
you. Yeah. PKC said then
Look,
she rode around with her in the trunk for a while. Yeah,
yeah,
because I remember them finding blood in her trunk.
they found an odor, not blood.
I thought they found blood in a
No,
child's blanket. The child's
uh,
blanket.
because when the parents got the car back, there's a recording of her mother calling the police, telling them it smells like there's been a damn dead body in the trunk.
Yeah, that's why yeah, you're right.
Because that's where that's where they put that expert up there with a paint can, and he claimed that you could catch something in the it's something to do with the smell and stuff, and it was some kind of junk science stuff. I don't know, but he had the smell in the can because he caught it.
She was as cold. She was as cold as ice, though.
Oh yeah,
She was talking to her parents. She was just like almost saying, "Get me the hell out of here.
right.
I want a coffee. I want a latte or something." You know what I mean?
Yes, PKC. They were. It was actually the like the not the road crew, the people that are like cleaning up the sides and mowing and stuff like that.
I didn't know they
They're the one.
found TV.
Yeah, it was like 3, 4 blocks from her mom and daddy's house. Yeah.
That little child looked adorable too.
Oh my gosh, she was beautiful.
How could you kill your own daughter though?
Well, like
Is
that one I told you the
that
other
another
night.
one? Is that another one where the baby's father was with somebody else, so that's why she killed the child, or what was the story behind
No, she killed the child because she didn't want the responsibility.
it? Okay, okay, I got you. That is terrible, man. That is
Okay.
terrible.
I will say this. I have wondered because we know the babysitter's name was Zanny, which is Xanax. Okay.
Right, right.
And I have wondered if maybe one night she was wanting to party and maybe she gave, you know, a little bit too much cough medicine, that maybe it wasn't on purpose. You know what I'm saying? To make her go to sleep so she could party with her friends. And maybe she gave her too much of something.
That's an interesting theory.
You know. So I have wondered that. I don't think, in all fairness, she does not seem to me like the mother that could put the pillow over the baby's face or something like that. You know what I'm saying? that maybe she overdosed her on something
Yeah,
accidentally and panicked and
that's
didn't.
who I'm probably thinking of, PKC. Susan Smith, she drowned her boys in a car because she had blood pressure.
Yes. That's a sad one too.
I
I
get
mean,
Su
because
I get Susan Smith, and there was another one that drowned her kids, right? What was her name?
in the car, oh man.
I got
Susan
those
Smith
two.
is,
I got those
which one's the
two.
one that drowned her two boys in the car? Wasn't that Susan Smith?
Yes, but there was another
Okay,
one that took place.
who's the one that drowned the five children in the bathtub?
Yeah, that's the one. I get those two confused.
Okay, the one that I'm talking about that I said was a sad case is the one that drowned her kids in the bathtub. Now, the one that drowned her kids in the car, that bitch needs to be killed today because
Well,
she did it to be with a boyfriend.
she claimed insanity.
Yeah, but she did it because the boyfriend dumped her because he didn't want kids.
You know who
And
else
so,
we never talk about? Daybell. What's her name?
that is the most messed up case ever. Those people were psychotic.
What's her name?
Lori, Lori,
Yeah,
Lori, and
Lord.
Chad Daybell.
What
And
did
her
they do?
brother was just, I'm glad her brother's already dead.
Andrea Yates. That's her.
Yeah, Andrea Yates. Okay, that one is a really sad one because she had severe postpartum depression,
Okay, that's
and
who I. Right.
she just, I mean, she had five kids, and they were popping out like every year, you know,
Yeah.
and they put her in the hospital. They let her out. They would put her in the hospital. They'd let her out, and she got involved with a preacher, and it's like a cult preacher, and they were, I mean, writing letters and stuff like that to her, telling her, she knows what she needs to do, and blah 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 and blah blah blah. Did you
Okay.
know about all that?
No, I just got those two cases confused because they were so close together.
And I don't know, something inside me says that maybe, I might could drown the first one, you know,
Nina,
but by the time I got to the fifth one, something might trigger in my head. Maybe I don't need to be doing this.
all
I mean,
my guests
five of
of
them.
these are not associated directly with 12 Gauge Investigative Podcast. They
Do
are
what?
they are their own warning label comments.
No, I mean, I can't see myself doing it, but I can
Yeah,
see, okay, being so psychotic that you drown one, okay?
right, right. I got you.
Because, okay, you have to go back to the cult preaching and stuff like that she was listening to, was because to her, she was sending her kids to heaven.
So Lori Daybell was kind of like this woman, right? These women. They were
No,
religious.
Lori Daybell is just a psychotic bitch.
So what was her deal?
Lori Daybell fell in love with this Chad Daybell that was preaching what is it, the 144,000 that's going to be left during the whatever, whatever, after whatever,
And she was married, right?
Oh yeah, well, she had just got divorced, and she got her brother to kill her ex-husband so she could be with Chad Daybell.
Okay,
Well,
yeah.
then Daybell kills his wife, and then her two kids, they become zombies, and they're not going to be part of the 144,000, so they have to kill the two kids, and
What
then
the
they run off. What?
what the hell, Nina?
What?
You're shitting me.
No,
I'm putting on the shades for that one.
no.
I'm
Look,
putting on,
seriously, the reason that the ex-husband got killed was they Daybell convinced her that he was no longer of the living and that he was, like a zombie, and he's not going to be part of the 144,000 and all this, so they kill him. Then the two kids, then they tried to kill her niece's husband. The brother got in the back of a Jeep, put a hole in the Jeep, put a shotgun through the hole, and tried to shoot the niece's husband through the hole in the Jeep.
How the
And
hell?
then,
How the hell did I miss this? Okay.
and so then her kids, they became, part of the zombies. They were not of this earth anymore or anything like that. They were already dead. And, because they're not part of the 144,000. And so they had to go. And then, of course, Chad Daybell's wife, she had to go. And look, when they are in his backyard digging up his yard, finding the bodies, he's on the phone with her. Well, I think I might need to go. Sitting in his driveway. And he goes driving down the road. Well, hell, they get him, of course. I mean, they got dead bodies out there. I mean,
Okay, so this one has zombies, dead bodies, spouses dead. How the hell did I miss this damn
oh
case?
my gosh. Oh, okay. Here's your assignment for tonight. Go go watch. Don't do a YouTube or anything. Go find something like a 48 hours or a true, like a documentary on it.
Well, I put a thing together where they interviewed Lori Daybell, and I kind of got the zest of it, but nothing compared to what you just told me.
Yeah, I forgot. What it was Chad Daybell wrote books, and he was the leader of this cult
Possible
thing.
cannibalism.
And but it's and if Jeff is in here, he knows the Bible better than me. But something about, when Christ comes back down, what is that called when he comes down and takes everybody back up to heaven?
The rapture.
Um,
The
yeah,
rapture.
that there's only going to be like 144,000 people that get to go, and you've got to be one of those 144,000. I
And
don't
you
know
had
if
to be
that's
a
really in the
zombie,
Bible. No, you can't be a zombie.
and you had to
If
be.
you're a zombie,
Oh,
you get killed.
okay. Let's move on to another case. That's blowing my mind. I had to put the shades on for that one. That's gonna be my thing. Every time we get too deep, I'm putting the shades on because that's a shade moment right there. How the
I'm
hell did I
serious.
miss? How the hell did I miss Lori Daybell?
And
I
now I didn't
remember
follow that case
everybody.
very much.
I remember everybody talking about Lori Daybell, Chad Daybell, blah blah blah. So he's in the same prison as Colbert, right?
Yes, but he's on death row. Lori Daybell didn't get death.
She represented herself, right?
Not that I know of. I don't know. I didn't watch it.
Isn't she the one that represented herself and was getting
Oh
into
no,
all
I
the,
think I
or is
think
that
that's going to be
Shabusiness? Shabusiness.
another one. Is
Taylor
I think
Shabusiness.
the one you're thinking about is the psychiatrist and the woman that was a YouTube or something creator, and they were abusing her kids and everything, and they threw her little boy into a cactus, and he finally he do you know that case? Ruby
God
Frank.
Almighty. We're putting the shades back on for that one, y'all. I
Ruby
just had
Frank.
warning label is blowing my mind tonight with all the knowledge she has on this stuff. I told y'all at the very beginning she was a good researcher, but damn, I am having my mind blown for real.
Okay. So Ruby
Too
Frank,
many.
she has all these kids, and she's a social media influencer. She had a big YouTube following. Okay. So she gets in with this psychiatrist or something like that, and the psychiatrist, they found like a bunk. I mean, like inside the big, huge mansion, and I'm talking mansion, okay, there is this secret room that they had the kids stored in and stuff like that, that was only a bed and stuff like that inside this big mansion. But outside the mansion, it was like, I think it's in Arizona because it's where it gets like, oh, way in the hundreds. But they would take and throw the little boy or the little girl one into the cactus,
I
and then
remember
they
that
would make
too.
them. Then they would make them
And
stand out by the pool on the hot cement barefooted,
yeah, yeah, the little boy made it out and ran away, and
and ran
I
across to
remember
the
that.
neighbor. Yes.
You know what?
What?
Ohio, Ohio, and Arizona, those freaking states have a lot of weird shit going on. I'm putting Florida in there too. A lot of weird shit. Every time I turn on a 48 hours or whatever, in Columbus, Ohio, blah, 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 and Santa Fe, New Mexico, blah, blah, blah. You think it's
Well,
the heat or the.
Ohio is the one that has had over 120 deaths in like 3 years in their jails.
Yeah, we don't hear
I
about
mean,
all that. It's crazy.
honey, I did a series on it. Nobody watched it.
Well, you know what? You might have to just reboot it and then we'll talk about it one night or something.
I mean, they took an 18-year-old autistic boy and they were sent for a welfare check for him. And come to find out, he had some kind of little misdemeanor, uh, something in the public, not like where you act up in public, whatever. Um,
Okay. Public
and they
criminal
they took
mischief.
him they took him in. They strapped him to a chair. They took pictures. Now this boy is asking for his medication because he knows that he is in an autistic episode. Okay,
Okay.
and they would not help him. They would not do anything, and that baby laid there in that chair and died. I've got it
See,
on video.
these glasses are for normal crime like that. The shades are for those other ones. I mean, it's like I have to switch because it just gets that intense for me. Zombies, you come on. But you know what else I
He,
heard? I heard
what?
there's been a whole bunch of sightings of Bigfoot in Ohio area. I saw
Hey,
that
I've got
on.
pictures of Jeffrey Epstein.
I've seen a lot of TikToks with people taking. I mean, I don't know how much is AI and how much is real, but there's a lot of.
And that's really scary
Yeah. But
because
Nina, what
just like you said the other night, we're gonna have AI forensics.
I believe that wholeheartedly. And
You're
you
gonna
heard
have
that
to.
on 12 Gauge Investigative Podcast, AI Investigative Podcast.
Yeah, see, PKC knows it. They would treat their wounds from being tied with cayenne pepper and honey.
Hold on.
They would take and that their bandages. Yes, I remember that now. Good job, PKC.
See, I had to put the shades on.
Seriously, you asked PKC about. Yeah, the bandage was duct tape.
What?
Yeah, it was duct tape, cayenne pepper, and honey.
I wonder if that really works.
You better put them damn shades back on by that.
I wonder if that really works.
No,
No,
it doesn't.
you know what? I love this. This is a whole lot better. It really is. It's a whole lot better. This platform, the
Oh yeah,
chat. So what? All it is just having a good time talking about true crime, right? Not making up
exactly.
stuff. Not making up stuff. Just going with what we know.
Yeah,
I told
blowing
you
Gage's mind.
You blew my mind at least twice tonight, for real. And Jeff blew
Really?
my mind too with the Jody Arias thing about making paintings or whatever.
She says,
Well,
I'd say maybe the honey, but the cayenne pepper?
well, you got to do what you got to do. Hey, you know what, guys? I'm going to tell you, some people are relentless for the advocation of innocence of whatever. I am going to be on a mission to get Casey Anthony on my panel. And if you want to join that mission, find out how to get in touch with Casey and we can get her on the panel. I want to dig into the mind of Casey Anthony.
Are
You
you
call me
challenging
crazy.
me to Are you challenging me to research?
I am challenging you because Casey Anthony, if you get wind of this, I want you on my panel. Come on up. I'll give you as much time as you need. I'll give you as many episodes as you need. Just to tell your story without people attacking you, we want to know what went on in the mind of Casey Anthony at 22 years old. We want to know what's gone on since, where you're at today. Are you at peace with what happened back then? Let's reach out to Casey. How, Jody Arias? We can reach out to Jody too.
I don't think Jody can be on a podcast.
Maybe she can be on a phone call, right?
Well, hell, if we're going to do that, let's just reach out to the son of Sam.
I don't know. Who would you want? Who would you want to interview?
You mean like on a podcast or like go to prison and interview?
No, on a podcast.
True crime
Like
wise?
if we could get somebody on the podcast, either current or back then, who would you want on the podcast to interview?
I might have to think about that one.
All right. Well, we'll talk about it.
I mean, because the reason why is because all of them that I'd want to interview are in prison.
I mean, that makes it a little difficult. It really does.
Yeah. Because I mean, I want to interview anybody that's got a fucked up mind.
Now you're playing in my playground right here. That's my playground right there. I wanted to be a forensic profiler. I wanted to do that avenue. That's one of the reasons I wanted to start this channel. To be
And
able to
I
go.
think that's the reason. I think that's the reason that I gravitated more towards your channel was because it wasn't just about playing other people's stuff, or it was more of the psychological,
Yeah.
or
Well,
the why, or the how, or
I'm glad that you actually came this way. I mean, if you guys are watching and you know that people would enjoy the channel, let them know about the channel. There's a lot of people that don't know about the channel.
I mean, because if you think about it, if we can figure out why, you can figure out how to stop it.
Well, just like with the criminal mind, though, every time you get one step ahead, the criminal always gets 5 steps ahead of those one step.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Like the
And
drug.
did they get Ted Bundy's brain?
I don't know. That's a good question. Does anybody know the answer?
Because I heard at one time that they were going to. I wonder if they got Charles
One thing
Manson's
that
brain.
I've heard about serial killers' brains is they're always a lot smaller than the normal brain.
Huh. Wonder what their
They're a
foot
lot
size is.
they're a lot smaller in certain dimensions. Because I bet you the prefrontal cortex of most of the serial killers is either damaged or has some kind of trauma associated with it.
See,
Because
I'd
that's
say that there's going to be trauma to the limbic region.
Well, because the prefrontal is about impulse. It's about decision making. It's about right and wrong. If you have any kind of
What
damage or any kind of impairment, that's gonna you can tell somebody all day long, don't do that. It's not gonna stop them because they don't have the capacity to not be impulsive, to think it
watch
through.
the movie watch the movie Limbic Region.
We'll do. We'll do. Well, Nina, I've had an enjoyable time as always. Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
once again for being up here.
I
We'll have
always
to
enjoy it.
do it again soon. We'll have to do it again soon. Maybe not tomorrow. I need a day off from YouTube. Maybe next week sometime we can schedule something. In the
That's
meantime, if
great
you
with
can,
me.
let's get Casey's email address and let's get on it. Let's get Casey
All
on the
right.
chat.
If I get Casey Anthony's email, you get me up to 1,000 followers.
We'll try. We'll try. We'll try. All right. Anything you
All
want to
right.
say to the chat?
Thank you, everybody that came in. I hope y'all enjoyed it. This is just the way we do it. And I mean, I like it. I really do. I like the new way you're doing it. And it's a whole lot. I mean, there's a whole lot of knowledge in it, but there's a whole lot of relaxation and friendship too.
Well, thank you so much. Y'all be sure to go
And
check out Nina.
go look up the Daybell zombies.
I don't know about all that, but thank you so much, Nina. All right. Talk to you later. Thank you guys so much for being on the 12 Gauge Investigative Podcast channel. Whether you're watching from the sidelines, whether you've been in the chat, whether you've been a subscriber for a long time and you're watching this on replay, let me know that you enjoyed the content, you enjoy the conversation, and you enjoy the direction that the channel is going. Because you know what? I never stay one directive very long. I'm always advancing, wanting to get better, and not necessarily in competition with anybody or anything. I'm more in competition with myself, and that's how I've always been. Once again, if you know anybody that would like to join the channel as a subscriber, let them know. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and definitely share it out to people if you believe they would enjoy the channel. To those of you that were in the chat, thank you so much for always being here and commenting. And Bigfoot does pay the electric bill sometimes. Until next time, be safe out there. Have a wonderful weekend. Once again, my name is 12 Gauge. Hope to see you again soon. Maestro, cue that music. Hello, everyone. My name is 12 Gauge, and this is my channel, 12 Gauge Investigative. If you're looking for the podcast to keep your attention, to keep the exciting topics coming, you've come to the right place. Hit the like, share, and subscribe button. Let's dive in.